After building Marketed to 74,000 euros per month in revenue, both working with European brands and American brands and e-commerce brands actually just worldwide, I can tell you that being Scandinavian might be the biggest cheat code in all of this agency space. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 simple reasons running an agency here in Scandinavia is actually easier, better, and faster to get to 10K than any other place in the world. Because trust me, if I knew these 3 things before I even started, I would have gotten here way faster. So if you live in Scandinavia, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, this is for you. Alright, so reason number 1 is that most of my network, for example, lives in the USA, right? And I work with American e-commerce brands, and I can tell you straight up, the US is probably 2 years ahead in all of the world, and when that happens in US, comes to Europe and Scandinavia 1-2 years later. And that's how all of this works ideally. You look at fashion, you look at all the tech, you look at almost everything. What goes on in the US comes to Europe later. So most people hear that and they will think, oh well, we're so much behind in Europe and in Scandinavia. But if you flip it, it's like a time machine. Because being behind just means that you literally see the future before it happens here, right? So that lean AI agency model, it's already winning over there in the US, okay? The playbook exists, and here in Europe and Scandinavia, most people are still doing, the agency 2, 1, maybe even 3 years ago. Because let me tell you something about the businesses and in my network that I have here in Denmark and just Scandinavia. They are still behind. They come to me and ask me, hey JP, how do you utilize AI in marketing? How can we do this? How do you do that? Can you show us how to do this? So you actually just gotta be first with this AI business model because you don't have any risk. You already know that it works. You can see how it works. You can just copy that almost and just bring it here. I got the epiphany. This was with email marketing. A lot of my network in the US, they were doing a lot with Claude, and they were making email marketing Claude, and everything they were doing besides design, they had one person do that with AI. So me having hired 5 people to do all of this, they had one dude with AI tools creating email marketing just, out of thin air almost. And then he had one designer just to make emails because it was that easy now. So I watched that happen. I was like, hey, yo, I gotta do this right now. And that's what I did. Now, reason number 2 is Janteloven. Now, I feel like Janteloven is pretty bad, but if you switch it and you change your perspective on it, it's actually kind of beautiful if you want to be a business owner. Because everyone here in Scandinavia feels weird about charging more, being the best, and maybe showing a little bit off and, making good money. All the other ones are telling because of, the cultural it is here in Scandinavia. It's like, nah, you don't want to do this. You don't want to show off. You can't do this. You don't want to do that. You just want to do this, like put you in a box and just, roll with the flow. Because think about what that means just for 1 second. The premium tier of the market, the 3, 5, 7K, 10K retainers are basically empty. Because in Scandinavia, a lot of business owners will go even lower and they will just get more clients. So instead of having 1,000 clients that pays you 1,000 euros, you maybe have 10 clients that pays you 10,000 euros. And I know it seems kind of hard to believe, but you can absolutely close a 3K and 5K retainer if you have authority, you have exceptional service. Obviously, you're also working with the right type of clients, as I spoke about in another video. And I know this is true because that's what happened to me. I started out charging 500 euros per month. I now charge 5K, 7K, even 8K retainers. And my clients are still with me for 1, 2, even plus 3 years. So the money exists, the businesses exist, the competition at this level, it's fairly just a blue ocean. So for me, when I'm looking at the culture we have here in Scandinavia, I'm like, this is awesome, this is great. I have an advantage. I don't have to compete with the insane competitive market that is in the US. I can just look at what's happening over there. I can do that in my Scandinavian agency and work with Scandinavian businesses here. So everyone's L ceilings now becomes your open floor. That's literally what I do, okay? I help Scandinavian agency owners build their agency up to 10, 20, even 30K per month. So all about the pricing, how to get leads, how to get these meetings, how to get the clients, the whole lean setup, how to use AI, this is what I teach. So maybe instead of wasting 3 years like I did, you just go in the description and book a call with me and get 30 minutes of free coaching, because that will save you a lot of trial and error. But anyways, here's number 3. Scandinavians can smell a sleazy car salesman from a mile away, okay? You're not selling in Scandinavia like you're selling in the US. And everyone that says it's harder to sell here is actually completely wrong. I want to say that selling is easy in Scandinavia if you know the culture and obviously know how to sell. All the loud American, the pushy style, pitching every single second, it doesn't work in Scandinavia at all. Which means that the operator that is, direct, transparent, and honest, and who diagnoses instead of just doing a pitch fest, stands out like crazy. And that's literally how I close most of my deals with Scandinavian e-commerce brands. I just be, straight up, I'm being honest, and I'm direct with them. Because in Scandinavia, honesty is what closes, and actually if you can diagnose and really help people. Selling is so easy here. So high trust markets are loyal markets. Just do honest work, you will keep clients for a 3+ year period, just like I have. And that's the Scandinavian advantage in the AI business model. So don't rebuild your whole agency, okay? Pick AI to do one simple task and make that task even better and better and better. And then you want to price your next proposal properly, not for your existing clients, for all the new meetings that you're getting and clients you're trying to sign. Quote the number to them that you feel like maybe it's a bit too high. I'm still surprised sometimes when I have sales calls and I'll drop a price on deal and the lead will be like, that doesn't scare me at all. One, either they're lying, or two, they're actually being honest, right? And then do your outreach the honest way. Do not go out on a pitch fest and DM people on LinkedIn or Instagram or send them cold emails. Just pick one channel and then be like a doctor and diagnose. And maybe even do your research before reaching out to them, see if you can actually help them. And with AI evolving every single second, it is literally impossible to not get success if you just show up and do the work every single day. This is completely like training, okay? If you do the rep consistently, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, you will get a bigger bicep. You do this with business, you will make a lot of money. I believe that in 2 years, this gap closes, then everybody will use, marketing agency with AI. But today you still have, I believe, 18 months, 2 years, then everybody's doing this model. So if you want help to scale your current agency to 10K, 20K, and even 30K, click the link right down below and book a call with me and I'll see you there. All right, peace.